Welcome to Uptime Spotlight, shining light on wind energy's brightest innovators. This is the progress powering tomorrow.
Max, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for welcoming me.
I think we're going to talk leading edge erosion and what to do about it. I want to back up a little bit because there's a lot of operators with a lot of leading edge erosion. Why should they care about the leading edge erosion? Why does that matter?
We've seen the blade today being eroded, almost destroyed, with holes of the size of a fist, which create issues on the aerodynamics of the blade and the downtime and major repairs, so major downtimes on the blades.
Yeah, and that turns into a lot of expensive repairs, obviously. And we're also hearing from a lot of operators about the power loss of, you hear numbers from anywhere from a fraction of a percent to somewhere north of 3-4%. Are you hearing those same sort of things? Just the power loss gets to be so expensive?
Yes, and even up to 5 certain are saying. So that's why you need to be preventive on this aspect and actually not to wait for the damage to come on the blade.
I think when we talk AEP loss, it's exacerbated even more in the market nowadays when we're starting to look at these 5.5, 6.1, 6.8, and I'm just talking about onshore turbines, these big megawatt turbines. If you're losing 1% from that big turbine, that's a lot more than it would have been, 10, 15 years ago on a GE 1.5 where you're losing, but 1% doesn't hurt you as much. But when you start talking these big, long blades, like everybody has to have a leading edge erosion, leading edge protection kind of strategy in place to make sure that they don't get to that point where they have big repairs. They're losing a bunch of production. Are operators engaging with you guys now with your with the new product, SOCOBLADE?
Yes, a lot of companies. So our product today has been on the market for a while. This is the Hontek technology, which actually we scale up today. So we've worked for more than a year now with Hontek to scale up the manufacturing to make the product available worldwide. So the product is pretty well known already in North America, and the word spread farms to farms. Now with our headquarters in Europe and our local forces, we're reaching more and more European farms as well. And we've seen a very high interest back in December during a Düsseldorf show. So everyone is coming, yes.
Yeah, that's unique, right? So Hontek has developed a leading edge erosion preventive coating that came from the military and on helicopters originally. And that technology has now evolved quite a bit into a product that can be made for wind turbine blades. And the problem with Hontek was originally is that there was so much demand for the product that it got really difficult to get in line, to get enough of it to do your wind farm, and particularly in Europe, because the Americans would use it up most quickly. So bringing Sakamore into this equation does greatly improve the likelihood of putting this Hontek product on. Now, obviously, Sakamore is a great chemical company. That's what you are. You have all kinds of technologies for a variety of industries, including aerospace, which is where I first ran across Sakamore. But this Hontek collaboration opens up a number of doors for Sakamore to really help the wind operator, correct?
Yes, of course. The product today is designed to be rolled on damaged turbine or as a preventive leading edge protection. But now, thanks to our collaboration, we're freeing Hontek to keep developing new solutions and adapt to the new challenges that the farms are meeting. The product that we have today, as you were saying, is actually the result of 30 years of development by Hontek. So they come from far and they tremendously analyze and develop the product to meet the exact field need.
And that's huge, right? That the product has so much service history that in aerospace and now on wind turbines, and the word of mouth is spread very quickly. That service history is something that Sakamore is using to explore other markets with and to grow the wind base. That is really critical because I think when you see a lot of new leading edge erosion products pop up, they have maybe 6 months of service life at best. Or it's a brand new product for 2025. Okay, great. But what am I going to spend 100K, 200K, 500K putting this on my turbines when it doesn't have a lot of history? Sakamore provides all that data, all that history with this product. And can you explain like all the effort that went into this product to get to here?
So as you were saying, the backbone of the chemistry is coming or has been used by the military in the past. And over the past years, the product has been challenged against different aerospace testing, military testing. So under way more severe conditions that the wind tests are currently, with tremendous results. So that's where we are always pushing the limit higher and higher.
You know, as Alan and I, of course, we're talking with operators all the time and ISPs across the wind space and globally, really. But a lot of people in the U.S., you mention the word Hontek and like, ooh, that stuff's good. Ooh, that stuff's good. But as we all know, if you've been in wind or if you've been around blades at all, a product that's installed on a blade is only as good as its installation. Can you tell us a little bit about how you guys install this or how the Hontek stuff is applied? And it doesn't have to be versus other products in the market. Just how is it applied so we're making life easy on a technician so they get a good end product?
One particularity of our product, so that's a two-component products. We need to warm one of the part for preparation. This is one of the specificity. We recommend some equipment that can be used actually at the back of a truck. So no matter where is the turbine, we can actually prepare the solution. Then pouring the part A in the part B, you get your can ready to go, and that's a rollable solution. So you have your roller. The product has been designed for I would say, the most complicated application for ropers, and the rollable application is actually very forgiving. So no matter if you splash a bit, if you swing a bit on the blade, you can easily correct the application and make it clean and lean all along the leading edge. We've designed the kit just to cover one blade at a time, so everything has been thought for the operator, to be easy for the application.
Oh, that's so critical, right? Because you don't want to mix a bunch of the product together and have to paint 3 turbines at a time. You want to do it one blade at a time, and obviously Sakamore is really good at packaging and making this simple for the technician on site. Now, there are really 2 different versions of the same product. You want to describe what those differences are?
Yeah, so we talk about the LEP220 and LEP220H. The 220 has been developed for drier environment, more desertic, so low humidity, where the 220H has a way wider conditions window of application from 35 to 95 relative humidity. So the technology of the product is moisture cure, so it will actually cure with the ambient moisture in the air.
So it's similar to like a super glue, right? Super glue cures with humidity in the air. And so you need a little bit of humidity to make this work. However, if you look at other products, I think this is why the Hontek product is so well loved, is that you could be in dry Texas, New Mexico, places that are hot and pretty dry, and you can apply it. You can apply it offshore where the humidity is exactly 95%. And how do you do that? A lot of other products don't have that variability, or they have trouble in there. They don't cure up quite as nice. The Hontek product basically removes all those barriers. Max, you have this mixture. It does magic. It's applied generally with rollers. I thought I have seen it applied with different methods, though. Are there other ways to apply it beyond roller?
So there is a brushable application possible as well. And we are customizing the product to be applicable through robot. We've seen more and more robot application nowadays, and we want to make sure that this application is compatible with our product.
Okay. So as we move to a lot more robotic repairs that are happening, and obviously there's a couple of leaders in leading edge erosion protection robots. So you can actually connect your Hontek product with an existing robotic company together. Is that a product today that I could turn on and use on my turbines this season?
Yes, we're working on it, finalizing it. All the tests have been very promising. So in the last stage of getting this available for the market.
Cool. I like that. So a question for you, Max. Now I know this is an open-ended question, because LEP, leading edge erosion, LEP is different everywhere. I know, Alan, last year you were at the leading edge erosion symposium that DTU put on. All kinds of smart research has been done about leading edge erosion for years, and it's different everywhere you go, right? If you're offshore in the Germany offshore wind farms in the North Sea, or the UK, or in the desert in California, or in the Midwest, if you're near agriculture, if you're near grazing land, everything is different. But what are you guys seeing for the testing? Like, I know that they've done rain erosion testing and other things in an aggressive environment. How long is this stuff lasting? How long do you expect it to last up tower?
We've seen now by experience, the first application are 8 years old, and we haven't seen those leading edge being redone. So per experience, that's the longest that we've seen.
Well, that's huge in the United States, right? Because if you're talking 8 years, what that looks like to me is a turbine that came out of warranty, got Hontek LEP installed, and then made it all the way until repower without having to touch the leading edge again. That's what I'm seeing from a business case. That's a good business case.
Because what does that cost, Max? I mean, when we talk leading edge erosion, the first discussion point I have with operators, and they're always focused on how much it's going to cost and how long it's going to take to apply. What does generally that look like? What does ballpark me into the time frame it takes to finish a turbine with guys on ropes and buying all the equipment and the material, the SOCOBLADE material?
Today, we're talking about 1 to 2 turbines a day, depending on the familiarity of the technicians and the number of technicians with the product. Obviously, the labor is actually the major cost on those operations, or the equipment needed, either ropers or the baskets. So this is where moving to a robotic application may be a real asset, and that's what we are targeting for this season. And as you're saying, the 8 years or the length of durability of our product just reduce the frequency of maintenance over those.
So the ROI question, return on investment, is the ultimate answer, right? So even if it does cost some time to get the technicians there to apply it, because it's lasting so long, as Joel pointed out, it's going to last basically through the 10-year period to repower. That's the magic. If you can do that, then the value of the material itself it grows exponentially, right? So it's not really a cost factor early on. It's how long you can make it work, and you're getting max production out of your turbines. That's why everybody loves this Hontek product. When it is applied and it's set on, is there any sort of inspection that has to happen once it's on, or are you just doing typical drone inspections with like a Sky Specs to verify that it's working like it should?
Typical inspection is enough. There is nothing specific to follow up or to reactivate the product. Once it's all cure, it's one piece, and protect your blade for the coming years.
So there's not opposing strategies, but there's multiple strategies on how you do LEP, right? So if you're on a 62 meter blade, or a 70 meter blade, or a 50 meter blade, certain people will say, protect 6 to 8 meters of it. Only protect 3 meters of it, protect 4 meters of it. What are you guys seeing, and what do you recommend for LEP protection from the tip back in that high erosion area?
So I briefly mentioned previously, our kits are designed to cover 3 square meters, or the equivalent. So we're usually seeing 10 meters long on 30 centimeters wide, so 10 meters on each side of the leading edge. In the shorten, and it can go to 15 meters. So you just make your protection a bit narrower, and some farms are expecting up to 15 meters long coverage.
Yeah, because I know some people's strategy is like, we've got this 100 wind farm, or this 100 turbine wind farm. Let's go and look at the average leading edge erosion, what's happening on it, where we have chipping, peeling, bad erosion. Okay, the worst case scenario looks like we're at 11 meters on a couple of turbines, but the majority of it stops at about 8. So I know a lot of people go like, okay, well, cost effectively, let's go put 8 meters of LEP on. Or some people say like, well, we want max protection. Let's go and do the worst case scenario on all of them. But one of the questions that pops up there is if we're putting on a coating. This is a big thing because there's been other coatings in the blade world that people have had issues with in the past with reworking or things like that, right? So is there a specific way you recommend people to rework, or if there's some damage, or if you have a little bit, like if the technician doesn't get the, if you have a cold joint when you're trying to apply it or something, is there anything specific about how you work with the product up blade to ensure that, you have that nice smooth finish the whole way, or can you rework it, right? Can you grind on it? Can you sand on it?
So we can rework it, yes. The one is key, and you mentioned it earlier, is the application, as critical as the product. So in that way, we make a point of honor to train the teams that will apply our product. So we're always connecting with them, making sure the conditions are met for best application, and we train them on how to get the best performance of it. The product itself, it's self-leveling, so all the smoothness of the surface is somehow inbound into the technology of the product as well.
Okay, so even an engineer could apply it. Is that what you're saying, Max?
Yes, I've been successful into it. One key thing is you were mentioning the surface preparation. That's something that sometimes is a bit rushed or not really taken seriously by the operators. The best you repair is before the application of the leading edge. So you repair your pore filler application, the better the adherence of our leading edge will be on the blade as well.
So I've run into a number of operators in the United States and overseas, actually in Europe, that have reached out and were asking about the Hontek product. Like, what, have you seen it? How does it work? And I said, yes, I've seen it on helicopters. It's amazing. And hold tight, right? So I was telling them, hold tight. There's going to be a big announcement about it where you can now get better access to it and get it on your blades this season. That just happened, right? You just announced that Sakamore is going to be the lead on distributing the product worldwide. And the conference in Dusseldorf was the big kickoff. How has it gone in terms of reaction into the industry? Because everybody I know has probably already called you, Max.
Yes, it creates a lot of interest in Europe, mostly due to the location of the show. But yeah, the Hontek product was less delivered in Europe, even if there is already a certain footprint. And we are now answering all those requests, and we are online. We have a dedicated website, SOCOBLADE.com, where the product will be purchasable directly online in the coming weeks. So we aim for 2-week shipping lead time on our product, keeping it on the shelf, being able to be responsive. Looking at the market for more than a year now, we are conscious about all the constraints the operators have to apply the product, considering team availabilities, equipment availability, weather forecast. We want the product to be available and to be delivered when needed on the different wind farms.
Okay, I have been on your website, the Sakamore website, and you can just Google it. And if you put in LEP or SOCOBLADE, it'll come right to it. The website is full of useful information. So your technical data sheets are already there. Your safety data sheets are already up and loaded. You're going to be turning on online ordering, which I think is going to get bombarded, Max. Honestly, I think you're going to have a lot of orders that way. That's the way to connect with you, right, Max? I mean, if you're really interested in the product, you really want to get to that website today.
Yes, the best way, the first source of information, and any inquiries you will make from there, I will be behind and will connect personally with you.
So the best way to get the product and to get the data and to see samples and to understand what this Hontek product is, and now called SOCOBLADE, is to get a hold of Max. Go to the website. So Max, they can find you on LinkedIn also, which is how I generally find you.
Correct. So I'm reachable on LinkedIn through SOCOBLADE.com. On SOCOMORE.com, all our products are also shared there. We have other legacy Socomore products that are applicable for the wind turbine as well, that you can discover on the SOCOMORE.com website.
Yeah, so if you want to reach Max, you want to try the material, the easy way is to go to SOCOBLADE.com, SOCOBLADE.com, and then you can download all the information there yourself and take a look at it, or you can reach Max on LinkedIn. Max, it's wonderful. This is great news because I know so many operators that are waiting to get a chance to try this new SOCOBLADE material. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate you spending some time with us today.
Thanks again.